guys, and welcome back to BP Gaming Network. We are playing Out of the Park Baseball 21, featuring our Oakland Athletics franchise 2020 season. There's a lot of excitement in the air, and if you guys guessed it, it is opening day. So that day is finally here. We get to start the season, and so yeah, we're hyped. We're excited. We can't wait to get this show on the road. So today we do have our first game, which is a matchup against the Minnesota Twins. Let's quickly just glance over our schedule just so you guys can see what that looks like. So this is a first of a 4-game series between the Minnesota Twins. So we're going to play them for the next few days, and it will be an exciting matchup. I went, scanned at this schedule and noticed that the first month, between April and March, is going to be a tough month for the Athletics. You can see we will face the Twins again in April. We'll be playing another series with Houston Astros in April, and also next week we'll also be facing the Boston Red Sox. We'll also face up with one of our divisional rivals, the Seattle Mariners, again together with the Astros. They're both in our division, as well as the Rangers. So a few challenging games and a few equally matched games, I would say, scheduled for April. All right, now what I wanted to do is sort of go back down memory lane and just recap and show you guys how both these teams ended 2019. So we'll go here into our league history and check out 2019 and how things played out for both teams. We'll start with the Twins. Of course, the Twins were the Central Division champs. They won 101 games and lost 61 games. They went into the playoffs, got into the divisional rounds, and then lost to the Yankees. I believe they were swept by the Yankees. Oakland didn't fare very well. Of course, we made it to the playoffs, which was a huge accomplishment, back-to-back years. But we were defeated in the wild card game by the Tampa Bay Rays, and that was a bitter loss, but we lost fair and square. I will not speak any ill will towards the Rays. But I mean, we had a pretty decent year. We won 97 games and lost 65, so not bad at all. And we were second in our division. Now, we also had a few other accomplishments at the end of the year. You can see here Matt Olson won a Gold Glove Award at the end of the season, as well as Matt Chapman. Where is he? Matt Chapman, right there. So we had two players, Matt Chapman and Matt Olson. Both of them won the Gold Glove Award at the end of the year, which was tremendous for our team. All right, so that's just a little snapshot, a little recap on how last year played out for both teams. So like I mentioned, we are preparing for today's game. It is a day game. It's the start time is 1:07 p.m. So that's going to be fun. Before we get there, though, let me quickly show you guys what we've done so far with our rotation, as well as the lineups, and then we'll get to everything else. All right, rotation wise, made a few changes. They had Rosario as our ace starting the season, but made a few changes. I moved Jesus Luzardo down to 4th position in our rotation, and put Sean Manai as the ace for this team and the pitcher that will start the year for us. The reason for that is Luzardo is still young. He doesn't have a lot of experience playing in the major league level, although he is extremely talented, has a lot of potential. I also put Frankie Montes as the number 2 in the rotation. just because last year Frankie was just outstanding. He was phenomenal. I mean, he has been over the last couple of years, so he deserves to be in that position. Mike Fiers also really held his own, and you know, he had a few bad games, but came back towards the end of the year and pitched really well for us. So he's in the third spot in our rotation. And there you go, Jesus Luzardo, the young prospect, finally gets a start this year with the A's. He's in fourth position in our rotation, and then Chris Bassett in the fifth spot. So that rounds up our starting rotation. For the bullpen, not too many surprises. Liam Hendriks, of course, is going to lead off as our closer. Jake Dykeman is going to be a setup man. He'll come in during the 8th or 7th inning, and from time to time, if needed, he will be our closer as well, like a backup closer. Yasmiro Petit as well will be in that setup role, coming into the game usually somewhere in the 7th and 8th innings. Joakim Sawyer will be playing middle relief. J.B. Wendelken, Lou Trevino, and T.J. McFarland as well. They will all be mid-relief. The long relief for us will be Brian Schlitten. He is a capable potential starter if need be, but not a proven starter yet. So that rounds up our bullpen. As you can see, we have the vast majority of our pitchers are right-handers. We have probably, 4 lefties in our entire pitching staff. So something to keep in mind. It's not too bad, and it's not the greatest. I would like at least another lefty in our bullpen, just for those matchups when the season gets going. All right, let's take a look at our lineups and see what we have here. So best way to do this is just to start off with the depth charts so you guys can see. I know we kind of did a recap of this in the last video, but here we go. So catching duties will be led by Sean Murphy, and the backup will be Austin Allen. First base, Matt Olson will hold that position. Occasionally we'll have, if needed, a substitute. That could be Austin Allen. Chad Pinder for now will start at second. I got Tony Kemp on the bench. And again, we're doing this primarily because we're using last year's performance and stats to judge these players. We did not have spring training, this being the first save of a modern game in this game. Usually you don't get spring training until the second year. So without the benefit of spring training, I am going based on last year's stats and performance. Franklin Barreto will be a second backup as a utility player there in second base. Marcus Semien will be the start in short, and Barreto will be a backup for the shortstop. Chapman will lead off at the third base position, and Chad Pinder will back him up. Left field, Mark Canha will get the nod to start as the starter for left field. We have Robbie Grossman and Tony Kemp as well that can back him up. Ramon Laureano is our starting center fielder, Tony Kemp as a backup. Steven Piscotty will be playing right field, and Laureano will back him up if need be, together with Grossman. DH, we got Chris Davis, and we're expecting a much better season for him this year, considering he kind of did have those injuries last year. And then right now we've got Austin Allen and Kemp as potential backup DH. But again, we can figure out those as we go through the season. So that's basically that. Today we are playing a American League game, so that means the DH is on, and we're facing a righty. So that means this is going to be our lineup today. So I've got Marcus Semien as the leadoff. I've got Matt Chapman playing in second spot. I've got Olson in the number 3 hole. Chris Davis will be the cleanup hitter. Mark Canha will be in 5th. Ramon in 6th. Piscotty in 7th. Pinder 8th, and then Sean Murphy. So we'll obviously have our lineup intros, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a update on the lineups, rotations, and that kind of stuff. That's basically that. Actually, there possibly is one more thing I wanted to show you guys, which is something I always do in my saves. Let's go here. Let's go into the lineups, 7-day lineups. So I always use 7-day lineups. I like setting up my batting order for the next 7 days in advance, and you can see I already have done that here. Boom, that is today's lineup right there highlighted. So I usually come in here and I make a few changes if need be. I've allowed the AI to handle depth chart substitutions. So essentially, if there's injuries, the AI will use these depth charts here to make position substitutions. Also, if a player is extremely tired. But for the most part, these will be our 7-day lineups for the next 1 week, and I will adjust them accordingly as time goes by or as needed. Okay, enough said. So we will get ready to get this ball started, and before we do, first thing we're gonna have to take a look at is the pitching matchup. So let's do that right now. All right, so these will be our starters for tonight. Sean Manai will lead off for Oakland, and Jose Barrios will be the starting pitcher for Minnesota Twins. You can see how each player fared in 2019. Manai did come off an injury during that season, so he only pitched, I believe, 29 innings. And played about five games. You can see his record there. Even in those games, he was 4-0. His ERA was 1.21. Recorded 30 strikeouts, and kept his WHIP to just 0.77. So pretty good. Jose Barrios, on the other hand, he had a all-star pitching performance last season. You can see his record was 14-8. His ERA was 3.68, recorded 195 strikeouts, and had a WHIP of 1.22. So those are your matchups for starting pitchers for tonight's game. And now we will advance to the opening day lineups. So obviously, we'll start off with the visitors, the lineups and batting order for our visiting team, the Minnesota Twins. So, lead off, center fielder Byron Buxton. In the number 2 spot will be third baseman Josh Donaldson. Playing in the number 3 hole, or the third position, will be DH Nelson Cruz. Miguel Sano, the first baseman, will be cleanup hitter. Jorge Polanco, the shortstop, will be in 5th. Luis Reyes will be in 6th. He's a second baseman. The catcher, Mitch Garver, will be in 7th. The right fielder, Max Kepler, will be in right field. Will be in 8th, sorry. And the left fielder, Eddie Rosario, will be in 9th. And the pitcher, obviously, Jose Barrios. He's also the highlighted player of the night for this team. Like I said, he had a tremendous season last year, pitching an all-star worthy performance, and he gets the special nod there for this team tonight. All right, that is that. Now we're gonna move forward and go to the ballpark. So here we are at the Oakland Coliseum, and we're about to get this started. So let's go. Sean Manai will be the pitcher for Oakland, leading off, and the leadoff for Minnesota will be Byron Buxton. Let's get started. Nice views there of the Coliseum. Manai will be pitching here. He gives up a walk, to Buxton. And then batting second for Minnesota now will be Josh Donaldson. Buxton, who is a threat to steal, is currently on at first. Donaldson comes up with a double to center field. It will not score the runner, but it will advance the runner from first to third. Donaldson will move up to second. So just like that, they have runners threatening to score at second and third. And that brings up the power hitter Nelson Cruz facing Sean Manai with nobody out. So Cruz flies out to left field, but gets the sac fly as he drives in the RBI. Buxton scores from third. Alright, so the score is now 1-0 Minnesota, and now the first baseman Miguel Sano will be batting next. And there you have it. Sano strikes out looking, and he is set down. So with 2 outs, runner is still on second. It will be the shortstop, Jorge Polanco. Alright, Polanco strikes out. Manai manages to limit the damage here by not allowing any more runs. So the side is retired, inning is over. We'll now move on to the bottom of the second inning. And before we do that, we're gonna check out the batting lineup and starting lineup for the Oakland Athletics, the home team. So batting leadoff will be the shortstop, Marcus Semien. Batting second will be the third baseman, Matt Chapman, who's also our highlight player of the game, key player for tonight's team. He will be batting second there. Matt Olson, the first baseman, will be batting third. Chris Davis, the DH, will be batting fourth. The left fielder, Mark Cannon, will be batting fifth. Center fielder, Ramon Laureano, will be sixth. The right fielder, Steven Piscotty, will be seventh. Chad Pinder, the second baseman, will be batting eighth. The catcher, Sean Murphy, will be batting ninth. And the starting pitcher for Oakland will be Sean Manai. Alright, so Jose Barrios takes on the mound, and Marcus Semien is there to face him at the bottom of the second. Semien grounds out to the shortstop, and they retire him at first. Matt Chapman comes in and flies out to center field. Alright, so 2 outs for Oakland, nobody on. Matt Olson batting next. Olson strikes out, and that ends the inning, retiring the side. So we'll advance to the top of the second. Sean Manai facing Luis Arias, and he strikes him out. The catcher Mitch Garver will be batting next. Back-to-back strikeouts by Manai as he retires Mitch Garver. Max Kepler is batting next. Kepler is going to fly out to center field. That's a quick 3-up, 3-down inning for Sean Manai as he retires the side. So now we advance to the bottom of the second. Leading off for Oakland will be Chris Davis. Alright, Davis starts off the season with a single to left field. He gets on base at first. Batting next, Mark Cannon with run out first. Cannon hits a ground ball to the second baseman. They get the force out at second. So Mark Cannon will be on base at first on a fielder's choice. And that brings up Ramon Laureano. Laureano He gives that a good swing, and that's a home run, people. That is a home run. Just like that, the score is now 2-1 Oakland. Excellent play there by Laureano. Alright, Steven Piscotty is going to bat next with only one out, nobody on. And Piscotty strikes out looking. Now here comes the second baseman, Chad Pinder. 2 outs, nobody on. Pinder gets a walk, so he will advance to first. So with a runner on at first, the catcher Sean Murphy will come in. Now Pinder does have a bit of speed. Mitch Garver, he's just an average catcher, so I think we can test him here. Alright, so looks like Pinder didn't get a good lead off there. Still thinks twice. That's a strike, so the count is now 1-2. Alright, so Chad Pinder manages to score, and I believe the pitcher grounded that one into the dirt, making it difficult for the catcher to get Pinder out or to even get a decent throw. So Oakland now have a run on at second, threatening to score with Sean Murphy still at bat. So Sean Murphy gets on base via walk, and that makes it runners on at first and second for Oakland. With 2 outs, Marcus Semien is now up to bat. Jose Barrios gives up another walk, and he loads the bases. So the bases are loaded for Oakland, and Matt Chapman is up next. Chapman hits a short grounder to the shortstop, and they get the force out at second. So Oakland is unable to capitalize on the bases loaded. They leave 2 men on, and the side is retired. So we'll move on to the top of the third. Manai will be facing Eddie Rosario. So Rosario comes up and hits that ball to the opposite field against the shift, and that gives him a double. And that's the risk you get when you shift. All right, so now that brings up Byron Buxton with a runner on at second, nobody out for Minnesota. It looks like that's going to be scored as a wild pitch against Manai, and the runner advances from second to third. So Minnesota has a runner on at third. All Baxter needs here is just to make contact. All right, Manai gives up a walk, so he puts on Buxton with nobody out. Runners on first and third now. Josh Donaldson comes up to bat. Looks like he's going to hit a fly ball to left shallow, and the runner tags from third and scores. So we're even now at 2-2 with only 1 out for Minnesota. Byron Buxton on at first, and Nelson Cruz batting next. Alright, Buxton gets a steal. Not so much of a surprise given his stealing ability and his speed. So Nelson Cruz has a runner in scoring position. Manai gives up another walk. So that's a third walk tonight for Manai, as he now has a run on at first and second, and Miguel Sano is batting next. Miguel has a lot of power, so you've got to be careful with this guy. And well, Buxton steals third, so that's not good at all. Miguel is still standing at the up to bat, and Nelson Cruz is on at first. Byron Buxton at third with only one out. Sano comes up with a double to right field, and that is probably going to score a run. So Sano comes up with a 2-run double to right field, gives Minnesota the lead 4-2 with only one out still. Ehire Adrianza will bat next. And he comes up with a single run scoring single to right field. So this is not looking too good for Oakland. Manai has given up 5 earned runs in just 2 1/3 innings. Yeah, we still only have one out at the top of the third, with the runners on at first, and Luis Arias batting next. Arias is going to get a single to right field, advancing the runner from first to second, and Arias is now on at first. And this is going from bad to worse here for Manai. Alright, he manages to wheel himself back into contention here by getting the next batter out via strikeouts. So Max Kepler will be facing Manai with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Kepler comes up with a double to center field, and it is a run scoring double, and that makes the lead now 6-2. And I think we're gonna start warming up Brian Schlitter here, because Manai doesn't seem to have it all together tonight. So he gives up another run to Eddie Rosario, and that scores 2 more runs. The score is now 8-2 Minnesota. It's still 2 outs with the runner on at first, and now Byron Buxton. And Buxton is going to ground out to the third baseman. They get the force out at second. That retires the side. Manai, I believe, threw over 50 pitches in that inning, and gave up 7 runs. Okay, we shall now move on to the bottom of the second. This is not the kind of start that Oakland wanted. Matt Olson comes on and gets a single to left field, so he's on at first. Now brings up the DH, Chris Davis. There you go. Chris Davis comes on and hits a home run. A 2-run home run. So gives Oakland a chance by eating up at the lead here. So the score is cut by half now. Where Minnesota is leading 8-4, and with nobody out, Mark Canha is batting next. Mark Canha comes up with a hit to left field. He'll get on base at first. Ramon Laureano will bat next with Mark Canha at first. Nobody out. Laureano strikes out. Steven Piscotty is next. There you go. Piscotty comes up with what looks like a double to me. Yes. So Piscotty comes up with the double. He advances the runner from first to third. So now we've got runners on second and third, with Chad Pinder batting next. Pinder hits a long fly ball to right field, and now we have a decision to make. Kepler has a great arm. Yeah, Ken is an average runner. And yes, so we get the sac fly by Pinder. Mark Canna manages to score from third, and Piscotty advances to third. So the catcher, Sean Murphy, is batting next, and looks like we have a pitching change, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Wisler will be pitching next for Minnesota, and you can see there this is his first game so far into this season. We'll see how he does. Alright, so Murphy comes in and flies out. The score has been reduced, the lead has been reduced from 8-2 to 8-5 now. Minnesota still lead this one. So we're going to move on to the top of the fourth inning. I'm going to let Manai attempt to pitch a few more innings and see if he can get a few more outs. So Manai redeems himself here by getting the first batter that he faces to strike out. That brings up the power hitter, Nelson Cruz. Manai strikes out Nelson Cruz, so back-to-back strikeouts by Manai. That brings up Miguel Sano. So, given a chance to redeem himself, Sean Manai comes in and retires the side with 3 strikeouts back-to-back. 3 up, 3 down. A quick and easy inning for him. So we're going to advance to the bottom of the fourth. Leading off for Oakland, Marcus Semien facing Matt Wisler. Semien comes up with a double to right center, and he gets on base at second. So what a tremendous start for Marcus Semien. That brings up Matt Chapman with the runner threatening to score, and that's going to be scored as a wild pitch. It advances Marcus Semien to third, and now Oakland has a great opportunity to keep advancing this, increasing the runs, but that's not going to pan out. Looks like Chapman is going to strike out. That brings up Matt Olson, and Matt Olson gets on base via walk. Now the power hitter Chris Davis with runners on at first and third with only 1 out. Davis hits a long fly ball to right, and that turns out to be a sac fly as the runner tags and scores from third. Alright, so Oakland is chipping away at this lead ever so slowly, so now the lead is 8-6 with 2 outs. Run on at first. Mark Cannon will bat next. It's another wild pitch against Matt Wisler. That advances the runner from first to second, so Olson is on at second. Canna gets on at to first via walk, and Ramon Laureano will bat next. Laureano comes up with the line drive to left field and scores a run, so unbelievable. Now the lead has been cut down to 8-7, so it's only a 1-run lead by Minnesota. Oakland is still batting here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. Piscotty comes in and strikes out. That retires the side and ends the inning, and we'll advance to the 5th inning. We'll try and keep an eye on here, see what else he can continue to do, and that could have been a mistake. So at the top of the fifth, Manai comes in and gives up a home run to the first batter, and we'll try and get a reliever warming up again. So Arias grounds out to the shortstop. He's forced out at first. And the score is now 9-7. Minnesota. Manai gives up a walk to the catcher, Mitch Garver. Max Kepler comes on to bat with a runner at first. Looks like that could be a double play, and it is a double play, a 5-4-3 double play. So Kepler hits into a double play, and that retires the side. Inning is over. So Manai manages to get out of that one. But I think that was his last inning to pitch. So we might want to see where we're at and maybe get a mid-reliever warming up here. Let's take a look at their lineup. They've got a bit of a balance there between righties and lefties, but more righties, so we'll get Lou Trevino warming up. Chad Pinder comes in and flies out to right field. And we'll get Brian Schlitter to take a seat. Sean Murphy comes in and strikes out swinging. Marcus Semien comes up and gets another double to left center field. Alright, pardon me. Semien will have a triple. Or an inside the park home run. Oh, you don't see those so often, so that is exciting to witness. Marcus Semien comes in and gets an inside the park home run. That's outstanding. Alright, so the score is now reduced back down to just a 1-run lead by Minnesota. We'll have a pitching change as Zach Littell will be pitching for Minnesota. He goes against Chapman, gets Chapman to hit a ground ball to us first, and they retire him at first. Alright, so the fifth inning is over. We'll advance to the top of the sixth, and Oakland will make a pitching change here as we bring in Lou Trevino. Trevino facing Rosario, and he gets him to fly out to shallow right. Byron Buxton will face Trevino. Buxton comes up with a single to left field. Alright, so we got to try and hold Buxton and not give him a chance to steal the base, but he does anyway. Buxton will be on at second as Nelson Cruz comes in. Minnesota has an opportunity here to increase their lead. Nelson Cruz will fly out to shallow left, and that retires the side. So Trevino manages to retire the side, and the inning is over. Alright, so leading off at the bottom of the sixth for Oakland will be Matt Olson facing Zach Littell. Olson strikes out looking. Chris Davis will bat next. Chris Davis comes up with a line drive. Strike to center field. He gets on at first. Mark Hanna will bat next, following that single by Chris Davis. Could it be? Could it? Oh yes, it is. Mark Hanna comes out and hits a 2-run home run. These two teams are trading runs big time. Both teams have tremendous power up and down their lineups, and you're seeing that power show up today. The lead is now 10-9 Oakland. Can you believe that? And we're only at the bottom of the 6th. All right, so Ramon Laureano will bat next with only 1 out for Oakland. Laureano strikes out swinging. Steven Piscotty will bat next with 2 outs. Piscotty hits a ground ball to the short, to the second baseman, and that's going to be an error by the second baseman. Allows Piscotty to get on base at first. So an error scored against Luis Arias. And that gives Piscotty a chance here in Oakland. So why not take a risk? Let's see if we can get Piscotty to steal second here. And he does. Outstanding. Alright. So, a sliver of hope for Oakland to continue to increase their lead here. Chad Pinder is still batting with a runner on at second. Could it be? Yes! Pinder hits a line drive, single to center field, and allows Piscotty to score from second. That's why you take those risks. This game is a beautiful game. Oakland now leads Minnesota 11-9, and with that, it's time to start warming up a couple pitches. So we'll get let's see, we're going to be going to the bottom, to the top of the 7th. So we'll start. Oakland will have Joaquin Soria warming up in the bullpen, and batting next is Sean Murphy with Chad Pinder on at first. And Sean Murphy strikes out swinging. So that ends the inning. And we'll move on to the top of the 7th. Miguel Sano is batting leadoff for Minnesota. Yes, it is. Sano comes up and hits a home run to left field. Brings the score to a 1 run lead by Oakland now. The score is now 11-10. Alright, so the shortstop, Adrianza, gets... Okay, he's going to get on by a walk, so Lou Trevino gives up a walk and a home run. Oh, what a nice catch. That looked like it was going to be another single to left, but the Gold Glove Matt Chapman on at third base makes the spectacular catch. So there's 1 out now for Minnesota with the runners on at first. The catcher Mitch Garver comes up and hits into a double play. That's right. The side is retired. The inning is over. And now we shall advance to the halfway point of the 7th inning. We can take our time and stretch. All right. Minnesota is making a pitching change here. They will bring in Trevor May. Trevor May, 30 years old, right-handed pitcher. He'll be facing Marcus Semien. Semien flies out to center field. And that brings up Matt Chapman. So Trevor May records back-to-back strikeouts as he sits Matt Chapman down with a strikeout. Caught him looking. Matt Olson is batting next. Matt Olson flies out to left field. 3 up, 3 down inning for Trevor May. As we now move on to the top of the 8th. And Oakland is going to make a pitching change as they send Lou Triviano to the bench and bring in Joaquim Soria. Joaquim Soria is facing the right fielder, Max Kepler. Kepler will fly out to right field. That brings up Eddie Rosario, the left fielder from Minnesota. Joaquim gives up a walk. And now Byron Buxton, the center fielder, will bat next with a runner on at first. Buxton hits a ground ball and hits into a double play. So another 6-4-3 double play. All right, we'll advance to the bottom of this bottom of the 8th inning, where Oakland still leads this one 11-10. Chris Davis batting next for Oakland with nobody on. It's a line drive, but it's a line out as it's caught by the center fielder. That brings up Mark Canna. Kenner grounds out to hits a ground ball to the third baseman, and they force him out at first. So Ramon Laureano will bat next, and he strikes out looking. All right, so this is where we start to warm up our closer, Liam Hendricks, and in fact, I'm also going to get Diekman warming up. So top of the 9, and Joaquim Soria is still pitching for Oakland. Nelson Cruz up next. Back-to-back strikeouts by Joaquim Soria as he sets Nelson Cruz down. We're down to one batter from Minnesota, Miguel Sano, facing Joaquim Soria. And looks like Sano is going to keep this inning going. No, he won't. Oh, what a wonderful catch by the center fielder, Laureano. Tremendous catch. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Oakland has managed to secure a win. This was a tremendous feat for Oakland. There was a lot of home runs hit here. Yeah, we managed to squeeze one through and won our first game of this season. So let's do a little recap here. Excuse me. Let's start off with Minnesota and see who really stood out for them. So you could see Sano was the main guy. He had the home run and drove in 3 RBIs. A couple other guys stood out. The shortstop, Iher Adrianza, the catcher, Mitch Garver, and also Byron Buxton. He had 2 walks and allowed his team to score a few runs just by his speed and base running. All right, for Oakland, we had a huge liftoff here by Chris Davis. He had that home run, and he drove in 3 RBIs. Mark Canna also had a home run and drove in 3 RBIs. 2 RBIs. Ramon Laureano, both defensively and offensively, came through for us today. He was 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Chad Pinder, he was 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. So we had a lot of offense today, which was tremendous to see, and we managed to wiggle out a win, even though Sean Manai just really struggled on the mound. He pitched 5 innings and gave up 8 hits, 9 runs, 9 of them earned. He threw about 109 pitches, and he had 8 strikeouts. Lou Trevino came in, gave up 1 run in 2 hits, pitching 2 innings. And then Joakim Soria basically closed the deal and got the save for this one. We didn't even have to use any of our closers. He pitched in 2 innings and didn't give up a single run, just gave up a walk and had 2 strikeouts. So I did allow Joakim Soria to push through those 2 innings, and the reason for that is because I knew that he's pitched for us before from the setup positions, so it wasn't anything new, and I was willing to take a bit of a risk there based on my trust level that I have for Joakim. As far as the pitching matchup goes, you could possibly say there was no winner here, because both starting pitchers had a very rough afternoon. Jose Barrios, he went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 of them earned, ended up with an ERA of 16.88. So I can't say there was a winner here, because either way you slice this one, both starting pitchers just did not live up to what we would have expected of them. The relief for Minnesota also let them down, giving up 5 runs total, compared to Oakland's relief that gave up just 1 run actually. There was no injuries, although there was a collision. Oh, actually, Jorge Polanco was injured out of this game. Player of the game was Chris Davis. So there you have it, guys. Comeback achievement, tremendous. That's how I like to start the season. So here we are, opening day. We've managed to get ourselves a win, and it's a tremendous win for us. So our next video will be as per the usual progression, where we'll sim through about 2 weeks into the season, and then do a recap, and we'll have another live game. There were obviously a few hiccups here and there as we were recording, but I hope you guys still enjoyed this one, and if you're an Oakland A's fan, this is a good win for us, especially at beating a team like the Twins. So we'll end it here. I want to thank you guys for being with us, and like I always say, if you have any opinions, comments, hit us up in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button if you like the video and want to see more, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.